Alright, so today I'm going to show you most of the Vertigo nades you're going to need to know. So for starters, if you want to smoke side hall, you can come into this corner and this little open part of the crane there and jump throw. Smokes off side hall so your teammates can take ramp control, not have to worry about a peek from side hall. Then the typical A smokes, you have this smoke here, jump throw, right up against the sandbags and around the bottom of this I-beam. It's not super specific, that one, so vertical wise, you can aim pretty much anywhere in that area. And then to do the other smoke, you line up when this I-beam hits like this, right about there. And then that corner, that does the other side. From the same spot, you can throw a Molotov for a headshot, right about the middle of the middle of that beam. So it doesn't show the animation on top of this most of the time, but you'll still take damage if you're sitting here, and then you're gonna have to run through the molly to get out and take a bunch more damage. So that's usually pretty good. And then the same right side smoke, you can come into this corner, aim a little bit to the right of this bolt, and jump throw. That will smoke off the right side, so you can come up and plant here. Or wherever. And then another headshot molly, you come into this corner, aim up with the right side of this bucket, and then the bottom part of the scaffolding, jump through. This headshot. Pretty easy. So then, as a CT, here's some grenades for a site. So say you want to stop the plant from back here, you get into this corner, line up with the edge of this little corner of the wall. You run through. That'll molly the plant. And plant here, you're gonna take damage. And then, so you don't have a molly, you want a nade. You can line up here and here, like with these two little holes in the tarp. Run, jump, throw, right click. It's a damage. That's a nice nade. It'll do a good bit of damage if somebody's trying to plant. It does about 45 damage or so, depending on how close it is or wherever. So that's usually going to take a good chunk away from the planter. Then there's also retake smokes you could do to set up a nice wall of smokes. The first one, you come into this corner, aim at the top left part of this little part of the crane, whatever you want to call it. Smokes off right here. And then the other one, come up right against like this little ladder, like right before you get into the, right before you start going up. You aim right there with this part of the crane. Then, yeah. That smokes the other side. Bounces kind of high and then pops like that. So I'll try the other one again real quick. Show you what it looks like together. So that cuts off any of the ramp or sandbags players, and you can come retake the site and try to defuse the bomb. Some other useful things, these aren't really set lineups, but you can throw mollies or flashbangs or whatever through those little holes. And then same with this, like you throw a flashbang through here, come out, retake. Stuff like that. Nothing super specific or crazy. But yeah. Some more nades as a CT. You can throw a nade like this. Like right up against this. You'll start walking up once again. It's right before you start walking up. So that nade pops right about here. So if somebody's walking up, they're going to take a good chunk of damage. Even though like this grates here, you still take some damage. You could also throw it a little bit further left like this, right about the middle of this rectangle part of the scaffolding. And that'll go farther. So if somebody's trying to walk up here and like walk around, they're going to take damage. And then some more CT grenades for fighting ramp control. You can come up, jump on top of this thing, aim right about where the ladder meets that part. Just anywhere. It's not super specific, any of these. You could throw a molly, you could throw an HE, you could throw a flash from the spot. It all does just about the same thing. They eat the HE, they eat the flashbang. You can peek, kill. Yeah. And then for the start of the round, you can come into this corner, line up with this, and run throw a smoke. Sorry, I ran through it. I ran a little bit too long, but yeah. You run throw a smoke off that, That'll smoke deep ramp, so you can try to get some ramp control. Yeah, that's about all the A smokes I got. So some mid stuff. If you're you ever think, oh, the other team's gonna be on an eco, they're probably gonna rush mid. You can get some teammates to throw nades off that, so you don't need to jump throw or anything. You just bank it off that. The nades come out here. They're gonna eat these when they're trying to rush mid. There's a molly for connector over here as well, so you line up with where these little indents meet. You stay crouched, you aim at the top left part of this bucket, and jump throw. Remain crouched the whole time. That'll molly connector here. You can also do it from like back here. Just throw it about there. Nothing super exact. It'll still get the same job done. So you want to smoke. CT. You come into this corner. Aim about halfway between here and here, and once again right about in the middle of that. Smoke CT. You can also, so if you're a CT and say you're an A player and your B teammate's like, oh, they're rushing B, I need help. You can throw this molly, bank it off that, it'll hit off this, and then it'll molly front side here, so they're gonna have to come around white box and beat the guy's side like this, or run through the molly. So you basically just kind of run up against the wall, or right around the wall, and then throw it. Throw it right about like that, up against that I-beam. And then you can do some B grenades. So there's this smoke. So you line up with this middle dot here, and about halfway in between these two things, like halfway in between this. And that'll smoke mid-sight. So you can get up and not have to worry about looking to the right here. And you can come around like this, whatever. And then from the same spot, you can also throw a flashbang. I usually like to move over a little bit and then throw a flashbang through the wall, like through the hole like this. So then your teammates can come out and peek this guy here or whatever, and he'll be blind. Yeah, that one wasn't perfect, but you get the idea. Just kind of throw a flashbang through this.
Flashbang out.
Some more B grenades, so you can come into this corner, crouch, aim at the top left part of this little tarp or whatever, covering the box, stand up, just regular left click, smokes the right side of the generator, then to the left side, you can come over here, line up with this bolt, and then this part of the little staircase, and left click throw again. That'll smoke the left side of the generator. Then you can come up. They can still play around this, I guess, but it's cuts off like this angle, so you can go take I-beam control and stuff like that. So then there's a molly you can do for triple. So you line up with this arrow, and then you aim at the middle of this yellow blob, whatever it is. So molly triple. Can't stand anywhere around here. Gotta reposition. And then some nades for CT you can do. You can come in here, throw a flashbang off this, and that'll blind people over here. So if you want to take B stairs control, you can do that flash. Another flash you can do, come into this corner, aim at the top of this little line coming out of the box. Left click. People are full blind if they're holding it or peeking or whatever. Yeah, that's about it for grenades here. Pretty much everything you're gonna need to know.